That's why yesterday you said, and I was very attentive that you yesterday said you sent a challenge to Roberto, to Yucatan, and you said, I want perhaps in 7 years we're gonna see the Mayan cuisine being the best of the world.
Yeah.
Not the Yucatecan cuisine, and that's it. That's the way that we have to do in the past. Right?
Yeah.
When you realized that in Denmark, you realized you have to go back to
At a certain point, yes. At a certain point, we had an idea that we wanted to simply explore our local environment. That's it. That was a basic idea in the beginning. And that's easy enough, so to speak, because you go to a farmer and you get the product, but what happens then is that you take this product and you cook it in a way that it belongs to a different culture. Okay. You understand? And I mean, for instance, an example would be you make I don't know a chocolate taco. It's still a taco, even though there's chocolate in it. You know.
I don't know if it's going to be great, the great thing for, but it's a new way of seeing taco.
Yeah, it's a new way of seeing taco, but it will still just be a taco.
Mm-hmm.
So that was our problem in the beginning. We kept cooking with other reference points.
Okay.
So
to break down that reference in some way.
Well, that's when we started to try to look into our past. What did people eat in before modern times, and what was the product range, and how was the culture back then? And why is it that we don't have a highly developed eating culture, etc., etc.? That was a few years of a lot of knowledge seeking and experimenting, and then finally we started to feel secure in what we're doing, and a new flavor appeared.
It's kind of a nationalist attitude.
No.
What is that? What is it? You see it like an identity, like a national identity, right?
Yeah.
You research from the past and you want to make it. So you have a new proposal for the future.
Yeah.
That's going to be the way, perhaps not. We will never know. But there's a different way to make it. It's a nationalism. It's like a search of identity. What is it?
Well, for me, it's what makes sense. No more, no less. I mean. For me, it makes completely sense that when coming to Denmark, there's restaurants that are exploring Denmark when it comes to products, because most of the times products are best when they come locally sourced with very little transportation time. Okay. Most of the times products are better like that, and the level of conversation that happens when you work like that is very important and very fruitful for your personal life, because you're constantly in contact with the foragers and the farmers, which is very nice, and
you learn
a lot, and you learn to live with the seasons. You understand the soil and the weather conditions.
You respect nature,
etc., etc. But it also makes sense to me that, of course, the immigrants of the specific country, for instance, here in Yucatan, you have Lebanese, and there's Lebanese cuisine here, and of course that makes sense, and there should be. But there should also be the other.
It's all part of it. You know, it constructs an identity.
Yeah, of course it does.
Identity.
And I mean, I'm here, and I'm also learning from your ways of cooking food. I think if it was a very nationalistic cuisine, then why would you even travel? You know, you would have enough in yourself. I'm completely inspired and very much looking forward to learning from other cultures in a way that I can use it in my own
ways of life,
in my own ways of cooking, in my own ways of thinking.
What's right now in Noma? What 1 year has passed from the beginning of the best of the world, like this magazine, the Western magazine, but it was a challenge for you to now keep in that way, to make things different, to make it better.
No. What happened was the contrary of that.
Mm-hmm.
What happened is that, and that was surprising, because we I thought that we were going to get more nervous, and I thought that the guests would change, and of course they have great expectations, which is natural.
A lot of expectations are always grow.
And that's natural. And but what happened is that the team just came more together, and we told ourselves that we would try to enjoy this moment, not be afraid of it, enjoying it. And what also happened is that suddenly, our guests now, they are here at a restaurant. They come to a restaurant to try the food, to experience it. Whereas before, we could have every day the average 10-20% of the guests. They came for a meal. You understand?
Yeah.
They came to be full in their stomach. That is basically the essence of eating.
Yeah. This is a restaurant.
That you become full. Yeah. I like to think that in our restaurant that the food in itself, the people, the ambience and the place should give them bigger reflections than just filling up their stomach. And now the type of guests we have since the number one are people that are coming to experience that, not just to fill their stomach and have a business dinner.
And that's good for you. That's good for your team. And it was
of course, that's amazing. Because
it's a new level. It's a new.
That's a new level. That is a completely freedom to cook whatever you want. Yeah. You don't need to have evergreens on. You don't need to have the beef with the garnish because that's what
they want to make.
That's what a lot of people consider the best food. There is a very tender meat. Now we can put reindeer tongue underneath or so whatever. People accept it. They're there to try it. That is amazing to have that type of freedom. That's the best part of it.
René, what's for you creativity? What does it mean creativity for you?
Creativity. The word implies that you are constantly rethinking ways of improving.
Is there a limit for it?
No.
There's no limit for it.
No. There's a limit if you have a certain way of thinking. I'm not so sure. I think at a certain point, you as a person become emptied.
Okay.
Within that creativity. You can reboot yourself by changing the framework or having people come and help you. You can hire a head chef that has new ideas and can bring it and such forward. Or you can simply leave the restaurant and start something new, a new idea. And that's it. I think that within the frame of your work, there's a point where you empty yourself, but that doesn't mean that you can't start again with a new creativity.
How many times have you ever been emptied?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Do you think there's going to be a time that you're going to be full of things?
I think so. Of course.
Or
I think it's quite natural.
It's human, right?
I think it's very natural. I mean, it doesn't matter what artistic field you are in. There is a period where everybody has that period, right? Where an artist produces all his masterpieces, or
perhaps
a movie maker makes the best movies of his life.
Seven movies in a row, and then
or two or one,
yeah.
And then there's mediocre movies, and then suddenly a reboot 10 years after, a rethink, and a new masterpiece appears.
Noma is like in this stage of
we are developing still. We're in the developing stage.
Where do you want to see Noma? How do you realize it? How do you see it? Perhaps 7 years. You told me yesterday 7. The limit of 7. I want to use it. Where do you want to be in 7 years? Where do you see Noma first?
For me, Noma is going to be exactly the same as it is now.
Congruent. Congruent with itself.
Yes.
Congruence.
Confidence, exactly. Just continue our work, continue to inspire younger chefs in our region to try to create their own version of this Scandinavian, Nordic, Danish cuisine. That is our challenge, and keep pushing, keep developing supply lines, keep developing new ways of looking at the ingredients within a region. I mean, our path forward is the same as it was 2 years ago. We are still learning.
What do you want to learn? What do you want to learn?
Everything.
Everything that you can.
Well, everything. I want to learn more about our culture. I want to learn more about why we eat the way we do. I want to learn more about the 159 types of horseradish we have. I want to learn more about the seasons, and I want to learn more about soil. I want to learn more about how to manage a team. I want to learn more about what happens in people's minds when they eat foods. Everything. I want to learn everything.
Which are your